If you try it, I will teach you a lesson. You want to hit me? Try it! Get off! You're hurting me!
Please stop! I beg you! I'll never touch you again!
You useless man!
I'm sorry, please!
Get back here!
Please don't beat me again!
You will regret this!
I'm sorry, please!
You no go escape!
Please don't beat me again!
You go collect
Something!
Ikenna's face was hard. His eyes carried the same darkness Ardalbi had seen before. Slowly, deliberately, he lifted his hand, ready to strike her. But this time, Ardalbi caught it. Her fingers wrapped around his wrist like iron. Her grip was tight, and shaking, unbreakable. Ikenna froze. His heart skipped. He looked into her eyes, and what he saw was not the gentle wife he married. No, this was something else, something dangerous, something awake. Ardalbi's voice came out low and cold. Do not try it again. The words did not shout, but they carried the weight of thunder. For a second, silence swallowed the room. Then suddenly, Ikenna laughed, a dry, mocking laugh. You, he said with disbelief, you are warning me. He pushed her hand away violently. Have you lost your mind? He balked, raising his hand again. Big mistake. The sound of Ardalbi's slap exploded in the air. KPA. Ikenna's head snapped to the side. His ears rang. His eyes saw stars dancing in broad daylight. Before his brain could understand what was happening, Ardalbi pushed him hard. His back hit the ground. Thud, the air left his lungs. He gasped. Shock swallowed him. Then Ardalbi sat on him. Yes, sat on him like someone claiming what belonged to her. And then she began to beat him. Her hands fell like rain. Her fists landed like stones. Ikenna screamed, Ardalbi, have you gone mad? But Ardalbi did not answer. She continued. Years of silence speaking through her fists. Years of pain finding voice. Ikenna cried out louder. Help me. Somebody help me. His voice cracked. His pride shattered. He screamed like a goat being dragged to slaughter. She wants to kill me. His legs kicked helplessly. His hands begged for mercy. But Ardalbi did not stop. Outside, neighbors froze. They knew that voice. They knew that scream. But they did not expect this. The compound gate burst open. Feet rushed in. Voices filled the air. What is happening, Chinook? Is that not Ikenna? They stopped. They stared. Their mouths fell open. Their eyes widened. Because what they saw, they never forgot. Ardalbi, the quiet, gentle Ardalbi, was sitting on her husband, beating him like a stubborn child. Ikenna, the feared man, was crying like a baby beneath her. Ardalbi, please, I will die, he cried. But Ardalbi's face was calm, cold, unfamiliar. This was no longer the Ardalbi they knew. And if you want to know how a peaceful, gentle wife became the woman beating her own husband on the ground, then subscribe to this channel now. Because this story did not start here. No, this was only the explosion. Stay with me till the end, and you will discover how it all began, how Ardalbi became the husband beater, and how this shocking story will finally end. Ardalbi was the kind of daughter that made other mothers angry with their own children, not because she offended them. No, Ardalbi had never insulted anyone in her life, but because each time they looked at her, they were painfully reminded of what their own daughters were not. She was beautiful in a way that did not beg for attention. Her beauty did not shout. It did not chase. It simply existed. Her skin glowed like fresh palm oil under the morning sun. Her eyes were calm, carrying no hatred. Her voice was gentle, like evening breeze after a long hot day. And when she laughed, it was soft, peaceful, the kind of laughter that made people turn and smile without knowing why. Ardalby woke up before everyone else. Before the cock could even finish clearing its throat, she was already outside, sweeping the compound. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of her broom was the sound of morning itself. She fetched water without being asked, balanced the pot on her head with grace, cooked for the family, served them, and never complained, not once, not even on the days her body was weak, not even on the days rain soaked her wrapper. She simply did what needed to be done. Her mother, Ngozi, would sometimes stand behind the door and watch her secretly, watch the way Ardalby moved, watch the way she worked, watch the way she lived, and she would shake her head slowly, whispering to herself, "Chukwu, is this child truly mine?" There was pride in her voice, and fear, because she knew daughters like Ardalby were rare gifts the world did not give twice. Her father, Okafor, carried his pride differently. It showed in his walk, it showed in his smile. Whenever men passed, he would clear his throat loudly, HMMMM. He wanted them to notice him, and they always did. One of them would laugh and ask Okafor, "Why are you smiling like someone hiding money?" Okafor would straighten his shoulders, his eyes shining, and reply, "I am not hiding money, I am hiding treasure. My daughter." Ardalby respected everyone, young, old, kind, wicked, it did not matter. She greeted all with the same gentle voice. She never insulted, she never fought. Even when other girls mocked her, she only smiled and walked away. One day, a jealous girl spat near her feet and said, "You think you are better than everyone." Ardalby simply smiled and replied softly, "No, I am only trying to be better than who I was yesterday." The girl had no answer. The villagers watched her closely. They studied her, they admired her, and they spoke among themselves, "Any man that marries Ardalby has married peace." They believed it. They swore it. They envied the man who would one day call her his wife. But what they did not know, what nobody knew, was that sometimes peace was not always peaceful. When Ardalby came of age, her father's compound no longer knew peace. Suitors began arriving like flies to ripe mango. Every day, footsteps. Every day, greetings. Every day, men clearing their throats and adjusting their wrappers, hoping to impress. Tall ones came, stretching their necks like palm trees, smiling too much. Short ones came, standing on their toes as if height could be forced by effort. Fat ones came, breathing like tired goats, wiping sweat from their foreheads. Ones who talked too much came, pouring words like broken baskets. "I am the strongest man in this village. I have many lands, many goats, many." Okafor would raise his hand gently and say, "Mwem, greet first." Boasting later, the man would swallow his words. Ones who talked too little also came, standing like carved statues, nodding at everything, saying nothing. One of them, Chibwes, arrived proudly one afternoon, carrying his gift. The entire compound gathered to see what he had brought. He dropped it on the ground with confidence. Thud. Silence fell. It was one tuber of yam. One. The villagers stared. Then someone coughed. Another person snorted. Soon, laughter exploded. Chibwes, one man shouted between laughs. "Did the rest of the farm run away?" Another added. "Or did you eat the other yams on your way here?" The laughter did not die that day. It did not die the next day. For 3 market days, Chibwes became a walking joke. Even children pointed at him and laughed. He did not return again. Then came Obinna. Poor Obinna. He arrived trembling like a leaf in harmattan wind. He knelt before Okafor. "Sir, I greet you." But before he could finish, his eyes rolled, his body swayed, and he collapsed, flat. Chinnik Ngozi screamed. Ardalbi ran forward immediately. She knelt beside him, fanning him gently. "Bring water," she said. Water was poured on his face. Obinna coughed. He opened his eyes slowly. The first thing he saw was Ardalbi's face. He smiled. Weakly, "I have entered heaven," he whispered. The villagers laughed. Even Okafor could not hold his laughter. Later, when Obinna recovered, Ardalbi spoke to him kindly. "Obinna, you are a good man, but my heart does not follow you." Obinna nodded sadly. "I understand," he said, though his eyes betrayed his pain. But among all the suitors, one man stood out. His name was Ikenna. The day he walked into the compound, even the air seemed to notice. He was handsome, but not in a way that begged for praise. His shoulders were wide, carrying strength without effort. His voice was deep, calm, and sure. When he greeted Okafor, he did not tremble. He did not boast. He simply spoke. "I greet you, sir." Okafor studied him carefully. "You are welcome." Ikenna worked hard. Everyone knew it. His farm was healthy. His name carried respect. He spoke confidently, but not foolishly. He did not laugh without reason like other men trying to impress. He listened more than he spoke. He looked serious, responsible, like someone who could carry a family on his back and not complain. Ardalbi watched him quietly from a distance. Their eyes met. Just for a moment, something moved inside her chest, something calm, something certain. Later that evening, Ngozi asked her softly, "My daughter, what do you think of Ikenna?" Ardalbi lowered her eyes shyly. A small smile touched her lips. And in that moment, her heart agreed. Ardalbi's best friend, Nkem, was not smiling. While others celebrated, while others whispered excitedly about Ardalbi and her handsome suitor, Nkem's heart was heavy. Nkem knew things, village things, hidden things, dangerous things. Things people did not say in the open, things that lived in silence. One evening, as the sun was dying slowly and the air carried the tired breath of the day, Nkem grabbed Ardalbi's hand. Her grip was tight, urgent. "Ardalbi," she said, her voice low and trembling, "do not marry Ikenna." Ardalbi blinked, then laughed softly, shaking her head. "Nkem, you are jealous." But Nkem did not laugh. Her face did not change. Her eyes did not soften. "I am serious," she said. The laughter on Ardalbi's lips faded. She frowned slightly. Nkem looked around carefully, making sure no one was listening. Then she lowered her voice even more. "Ikenna beats women." The words fell between them like a snake. Ardalbi's heart skipped. Her fingers twitched. For a moment, fear knocked on her chest. But pride answered the door. She forced a smile. "That is a lie," she said quickly. Nkem swallowed. "The last woman he wanted to marry ran away." Ardalbi's chest tightened. She remembered the woman. She remembered the sudden disappearance. She had never asked why. She had never wanted to know. But still, she lifted her chin stubbornly. "He cannot beat me," she said. Nkem grabbed her shoulders now, her eyes wide with desperation. "Ardalbi, listen to me. Some men smile with their mouth and hide teeth in their heart." Ardalbi said nothing. She only looked away. Because deep inside, she had already chosen. And sometimes, choice is the beginning of destiny. Their wedding was beautiful. The kind of wedding people talked about long after the drums had gone silent. Music filled the air, loud and alive, beating like the heart of the village itself. The drums spoke. The flute sang. The singers clapped and called her name, Ardalbi. Ada W. Women danced until their wrappers loosened and their feet cried for mercy. Their laughter rose into the sky. Men drank until their voices became louder than their sense. Today is not for sorrow, one of them shouted, raising his cup high. Today, we drink for love. Goats lost their lives that day. Many goats, their cries ended in cooking pots, their bodies turning into feasts for celebration. The aroma of food filled every corner. Children ran around with oily mouths. Old men sat in groups, nodding with approval. In the middle of it all stood Ikenna. His chest was wide with pride. His smile was strong. He looked like a man who had conquered something precious. He held Adobe's hand firmly, as if afraid the world might take her back. And Adobe glowed like moonlight. Her beauty was breathtaking. Her eyes were shy, but happy. Her smile carried hope. She looked like a woman stepping into the life she had prayed for. People leaned toward each other and whispered, "Look at them. They are perfect. Perfect couple." Ngozi wiped tears from her eyes. Okafor cleared his throat and looked away, pretending to be strong. One elderly woman smiled and said, "This marriage will be filled with peace." Everyone believed it. Everyone celebrated it. Everyone blessed it. Nobody saw the storm hiding inside the sky. Their marriage started well. To well. The kind of well that makes people forget every warning they were given. Ikenna was calm. His voice was soft. His presence was warm. He spoke to Adobe with kindness that wrapped around her heart like safety. He was gentle, careful, loving. In the mornings, he would call her sweetly, "Ada, are you awake?" And she would smile before even opening her eyes. He bought her things without being asked. Wrappers of bright colors, beads that shined on her neck. One evening, he returned home and handed her a small parcel. Adobe opened it slowly. Her eyes widened. "Ikenna, you bought this for me?" she asked, her voice full of surprise. Ikenna shrugged slightly and smiled. "Does my wife not deserve beautiful things?" Adobe laughed, her laughter full and free. They ate together. They joked together. Sometimes, he would say something foolish on purpose just to hear her laugh, and when she laughed, he would watch her as if he had won something priceless. Adobe's heart rested. Her fears slept. Her doubts disappeared. One afternoon, she went to see Nkem. Her steps were light. Her face was glowing. "Nkem," she called excitedly. Nkem came out and smiled. "Adobe." Adobe sat beside her and grabbed her hands. "You see," she said proudly, "you were wrong." Nkem's smile froze for a moment, but she forced it to stay. Adobe continued, her voice full of joy. "Ikenna is kind. He is loving. He has never raised his voice at me. Never." She laughed softly. "You were afraid for nothing." Nkem nodded slowly. "I am happy if you are happy," she said quietly. But her heart was not at peace. Something inside her refused to celebrate. Something inside her was still waiting, watching, listening. Afraid. It happened suddenly, like lightning that strikes without warning. One small argument, one small misunderstanding that should have died like every other misunderstanding before it. Adobe's voice was calm. "Ikenna, I only said the food needed more salt." But something in Ikenna's eyes darkened. His jaw tightened. His breathing changed. Then, slap! The sound exploded in the air. Loud. Sharp. Final. Time froze. The world stopped. Adobe's ears rang violently. Her eyes widened in shock. Her hand slowly touched her cheek. She could not breathe. She could not think. She could not understand. She looked at him, but the man standing before her was no longer the man she married. Ikenna's face had changed. His eyes were cold, empty, dangerous. Before she could speak, before she could move, he bounced on her like a wild animal. His hands landed on her body without mercy. He beat her, beat her, beat her. You dare talk back to me? He shouted. His voice was not human. Adaobi cried out in pain, Ikenna. Please, but the blows did not stop. They only grew harder, faster, wilder. Adaobi did not fight back. She did not raise her hand. She did not defend herself. She only cried. Tears rolled down her face silently. Her heart breaking with every strike. Her soul cracking with every breath. That night, she lay on the floor. Her body weak. Her eyes open in the darkness. She did not sleep. Sleep did not come. Peace did not come. Only silence, and pain. And somewhere deep inside her, something moved. Something she did not understand. Something she could not name. Something inside her woke up. Days later, the silence in their home was heavy. The kind of silence that hides unfinished business. The kind of silence that waits. Then it happened. Ikenna tried again. His face was filled with the same anger. The same darkness. He raised his hand slowly, confidently, like a man repeating something he believed he owned. But this time, Adaobi caught it. Her fingers closed on, his wrist, tight, firm. Unshaking. Ikenna froze. His eyes dropped to her hand. Then he looked at her face. Her eyes were different. Gone was the fear. Gone was the softness. What stared back at him now was something dangerous. Something awake. Adaobi spoke quietly, her voice cold and steady. Do not try it again. For a moment, the air stopped moving. Then Ikenna laughed. A dry, mocking laugh. What did you say? He asked. He pushed her hand away. Have you lost your senses? He barked. And then, he raised his hand again. Big mistake. KPA. Adaobi's slap landed before his hand could fall. The sound rang across the room. Ikenna's head snapped sideways. His vision blurred. He saw stars dancing where there were none. Confusion swallowed him. Before he could recover, Adaobi pushed him hard, thud. His back hit the ground. The breath escaped his lungs. He gasped. Shock held him down. Then Adaobi sat on him. Sat on him like someone claiming victory. And she began to beat him. Her fists rose and fell, fast, hard. Relentless. Ikenna screamed, Adaobi. Are you mad? She did not answer. She continued. His voice broke. His pride shattered. He screamed louder, like a goat being dragged to slaughter. Help me. Somebody help me. His legs kicked helplessly. His hands tried to block her, but they failed. Outside. Neighbors heard the cries. They ran, feet pounding, hearts racing. They burst into the compound. And then they stopped, frozen. Their eyes widened. Their mouths opened. Because what they saw, they never forgot. Adaobi, the quiet, gentle wife, was sitting on her husband, beating him without mercy, and Ikenna, the feared man, was lying on the ground, crying like a child. Ikenna cried, Not the cry of a man protecting his pride. No, this was the cry of someone who had lost it. Tears ran down the sides of his face. His voice shook. Ardalby, please, please stop. He begged, his hands raised in surrender. Sweat covered his body, pouring out of him like rain. His chest rose and fell in panic. His strength had left him. His power had abandoned him. But Ardalby did not stop. Her face was calm, cold, focused. Her hands continued to fall. The mighty lion had become meat. The same man who once stood like thunder was now shaking like a leaf. The neighbors rushed closer, their voices filled with fear. Ardalby, one of them shouted, "He will die." Another woman grabbed her arm. "Biko, leave him. He has learned his lesson." Ikenna's voice cracked as he cried, "I am sorry, Ardalby. I am sorry." But Ardalby said nothing. She only looked at him, long, deep, then slowly. She stood up. The beating stopped. The air became still. She adjusted her wrapper calmly, as if nothing had happened, as if her world had not just changed. Without looking back, she turned and walked inside the house. The door swallowed her, and Ikenna lay there, flat on the ground, broken, humiliated, finished. From that day, everything changed. The balance of power shifted without warning. The air inside the house no longer belonged to Ikenna. It belonged to Ardalby. She became commander. Her voice carried authority that could not be questioned. And Ikenna became houseboy. Man who once walked like a lion now moved carefully like a servant afraid of his master's mood. He cooked. He stood in the kitchen for hours, his hands moving slowly, his body heavy with shame. He swept. The broom that once belonged to Ardalby now lived in his hands. Swish, 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 each stroke reminding him of who he had become. He washed, bent over basins of water, scrubbing clothes in silence, his thoughts drowning in regret. And Ardalby sat like queen, calm, untouchable, watching. One afternoon, her voice cut through the air. "Ikenna." His heart jumped. He ran immediately. "Yes," he answered. Standing straight like a soldier, Ardalby did not even look at him. She dipped her fingers into the cup beside her and frowned. "My water is too cold," she said flatly. "Warm it." Ikenna swallowed. "Yes," he whispered. He carried the cup carefully to the fire. His hands trembled, his eyes burned, as he warmed the water. Tears gathered and fell silently down his face. He cried while warming it, not loudly, not boldly, but quietly, like a man who finally understood the weight of his own actions. His so-called friends laughed, loud, cruel, woman rapper. One shouted, pointing at him as if he were a joke carved into flesh. Another joined in. Junior wife of Ardalby." Their voices bounced off the walls of the village, echoing through the market and the dusty paths. Even children, innocent and merciless, joined the chorus. One small boy ran up to him, giggling with all the confidence of youth. "Uncle Ikenna, come and pound yam." The words hit him like stones. The village erupted with laughter, their joy cruel and relentless. Ikenna felt something inside him die a little more each day. Pride, dignity, respect, all gone. He walked with his head low, shoulders slumped, every step heavy with shame. Every whisper, every giggle, every pointing finger reminded him of who he had become. And inside, Ikenna died. Daily, slowly, silently, desperate, Ikenna went to the elders. His steps were slow, heavy with shame, his chest tight with fear. "Elders, please," he said, his voice trembling. "Ardalby, she beat me." The elders leaned back in their chairs, their eyes wide. Then slowly, laughter erupted. A low chuckle at first, Then a roar that filled the room. Ardalby. Beat you? One elder asked, wiping tears from his eyes. Do you mean to joke with us, boy? Another elder joined, shaking his head. You must have fallen. Surely, you must have fallen. Ikenna's hands shook. His lips quivered. I swear, he cried, voice breaking, I swear. She hit me. Please, you must believe me. But nobody believed him. Heads shook. Eyes turned away. Some chuckled quietly behind their hands. The shame inside him deepened. He felt invisible, ridiculed, alone. And in that room, surrounded by those who once commanded respect, Ikenna cried. Not for pain, not for pride, but for disbelief. For the world refusing to see what had already happened. Every evening, dread filled Ikenna's chest like heavy stones. He feared going home. His heart raced, thudding violently against his ribs. His legs shook beneath him, weak and trembling. He prayed silently, over and over, that night would never come, that the sun would never set. But night always came, and Ardalby always waited, her eyes calm, her voice quiet, her presence commanding. One day, he could not take it any more. The shame, the fear, the endless mockery. He entered his house, each step heavy as if carrying the weight of a lifetime of mistakes. He saw Ardalby. She was standing there, calm, watching. His knees gave way. He fell to the floor, face down, hands trembling, and he cried. Real tears, hot and wet. Tears that had been held back for too long. I am sorry, he sobbed. I am sorry for everything. I was wicked. Forgive me, Ardalby. Please. Ardalby looked at him, her eyes unreadable, silent, still. Long silence stretched between them, thick as the night itself. Ikenna could feel his heart stop. He held his breath, waiting for judgment. Then, quietly, her voice came soft certain. Stand up. His knees shook. He obeyed. He looked at her, fear and hope battling in his chest. And then she said it again, slower, stronger, final. I forgive you. Relief washed over him like a river breaking through a dam. The weight lifted. The fear dissolved. Peace, real peace, had returned. Peace returned. Real peace. The kind of peace that settles into the bones and stays. Not fake peace that hides behind smiles or empty words. They became husband and wife again. True husband and wife. Not master and servant. Not fear and trembling. Ikenna never raised his hand again, not once. Not even in anger. Not even in frustration. He had learned in a way that words could never teach. Learned the hard way. And every time he looked at Ardalby, every time he spoke to her, he remembered. He remembered the fear he once carried, the shame, the weakness, and he bowed his head quietly, grateful for the second chance he had been given. I will never forget, he whispered one evening. Ardalby smiled softly, her eyes calm, her voice steady, I know. And with that, the house was filled with laughter again, with love again, with peace again, real peace. The villagers said it often, in hushed tones and in laughter, passing the story from one compound to another. A man who beats his wife may meet the wife who beats back. They whispered, shaking their heads, some chuckling, some wide-eyed. And Ardalby remained a legend, not because she was violent, not because she took pleasure in punishment or fear, but because she refused to be a victim, refused to bow when she had the strength to stand, refused to let anyone, even the man she loved. Take her dignity. Children pointed at her with awe. Men whispered her name with caution. And every time someone told her story, they did not speak of her fists. They spoke of her courage, her mind, her heart. Her fire, Bardalby, the gentle, the kind, the unassuming, had become unbreakable, and that was why she was remembered.